Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be talking about the next stage of the Psychic Awakening, the Ritual of the Damned. Also, we're going to be talking about some Dark Angels because they have some interesting information that has been sent to me. So let's jump in and let's get started. Now the information I got was of a chap called, I'm not going to give his full name out, I'm just going to call him Jay, so that way he knows who he is and I know who he is and you can have a name to the source. Now, Jay got sent two of the new stories that are attached to the Ritual of the Damned, short stories. So for those of you who are not aware, if you go on the Warhammer community website, the Warhammer community website puts up short stories that are attached to the Psychic Awakening. I think they put out like every Monday or something like that. Now, the first story is about the Grey Knights, and the second one is about the Dark Angels. Now, Jay couldn't send me the full thing because his source said, please don't share the full things. You can share, the basic information of it, but don't share the actual PDF that he has because that could lead him to get in trouble or something like that. So I'm just going to go through the summaries of the two stories, but it's a second story that we're going to focus on the most because that has some kind of big information in it, and it could, I personally think, lead to the potential of a new character which could come with the Ritual of the Damned. Now, the first story is called The Piercing Eyes, and this is basically all about the Grey Knights monitoring the planet of the Sorcerers. He says it has some beautiful written descriptions of the surface of the planet, stuff like that. He also states that Magnus knows that the Grey Knights are coming, and it makes it known during the Grey Knights prying. So as soon as the Grey Knights start looking, I think Magnus goes boo and reveals himself, and he knows that the Grey Knights are there, and the Grey Knights know that Magnus is there, and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, that is basically the summary of the first story. Nothing really exciting in that. It's a second story, which really I think is the big thing, and I think it's the big thing because he says it features a guy called Lazarus. Now, this is the reason I believe everything this guy is saying to me, because Lazarus is a known character in the 40k lore. He's a new character for the Dark Angels, and with the information that we get in this short story, it's basically the Dark Angels were called on by the Grey Knights because things were going really bad and they needed backup. They mentioned that Lazarus has a sword, and it's one of the instruments to bring retribution to the Thousand Sons for sacking their secret rooms within the rock. Now, that's a really important point because for those of you who remember the White Dwarf article, sorry, it wasn't an article, it was the White Dwarf book which featured the Dark Angels rules in there. There was some really interesting things. So Lazarus is the captain of the 5th Company. He actually replaced Balthazar, and the actual full text of it, I'll try and put it up on the screen in the background. It says, Captain Lazarus attained his rank when his predecessor, Captain Balthazar, was slain in the chaotic battles that erupted in the aftermath of the Cicatrix Maledictum, was basically the Great Rift. Lazarus fought bravely in War Zone Stygius, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, in fighting aboard the Rock in the Fenris system, after which he developed a powerful hatred for the forces of the Thousand Sons and the followers of Tzeentch. So there we go, there's a connection already. There's Grey Knights, there's Thousand Sons, and there's Dark Angels. So this is why this Lazarus' name is popping up. An expert strategist and tactician, his leadership prevented a total rout of Imperial forces on the ice world of Rimnock, though he was severely wounded by fell sorcery during the fighting. With even a dreadnought sarcophagus incapable of preserving his life, the only option remaining to the Dark Angels apothecaries was to put Lazarus through the crossing of the Rubicon. So what happened is that he got really injured, and even a dreadnought sarcophagus couldn't keep him alive. So the apothecary said, hey, let's just try and upgrade him, and hopefully that will work. And it did work. So now we have Captain Lazarus, who is a Primaris Marine of the 5th Company of Dark Angels. He does send me some quotes from the actual story, and they do seem completely legit. So he says, here's an example of some of the sick writing in this thing. The sorcerer glanced over at Lazarus, a contentious gaze and disdainful scoff. His only reply before his vision returned to the prism and its ritual continued. Another quote is, Lazarus renamed the blade Emmeti's Edge, and within it, the Dark Angels would have their vengeance. Another quote: "Kindle the fire that burns within you, nurture it into a searing fury, and bring down the retribution upon Magnus and his sorcerous legions for the destruction they have brought upon our chapter." The chapter they're speaking about is, of course, the Dark Angels chapter. He also mentions that it was Azrael that personally picked this chap to command the elements to go take care of the Thousand Sons in this little battle, whatever takes place in the battle. So he was chosen by Azrael himself, which now I personally think, since Azrael chose him to lead this, I'm thinking now is Lazarus the model that we're going to get along with the Ritual of the Damned. Is he going to be like the big reveal model, a brand new Dark Angel character model? I know we haven't, well, we do have Dark Angel character models, but we haven't had any new ones like Lazarus introduced into model format. So instead of having like Azrael, as I predicted, or I know a lot of people predicted, certain chaplains and stuff like that. A lot of people saying Samael and stuff, Primaris format. Maybe it's none of them. It's actually this brand new character, Lazarus, who is going to be leading the Dark Angels, taking on the Thousand Sons along with the Grey Knights. I think it makes a lot of sense. The dots are slowly connecting. Again, if you've got the White Dwarf with the Dark Angel booking, you can go and read a bit more about Lazarus. Sadly, I haven't got it on me. I've only just got like screen caps and stuff, which people sent me months and months ago, and they're not really the best. But it really does all make sense. Lazarus hates he hates the Thousand Sons, and the Thousand Sons, the Salt on the Rock and all that kind of stuff. And now it's the Dark Angels fighting the Thousand Sons along with the Grey Knights. There was a lot of people saying, why the hell are the Dark Angels teaming up with the Grey Knights against the Thousand Sons? Shouldn't it be the Space Wolves that are teaming up against the Grey Knights with the Thousand Sons? It would make a lot more sense, since it is the Space Wolves that has this, vendetta, this grudge, this thousands upon thousands of years grudge against the Thousand Sons. It was the Space Wolves that sacked Prospero, that broke Magnus, that broke the Thousand Sons and sent them into the damnation that they're all at. But now this actually does make a bit more sense why the Dark Angels are there, along with Lazarus leading how many Marines have been sent there to quell this threat of the Thousand Sons. I think we'll know if this is completely true by tomorrow evening, because tomorrow evening is, of course, Monday, and like I stated before, Monday is when they put out their Psychic Awakening stuff, and when I mean put out Psychic Awakening stuff, I predict a short story. So if one of the stories is dedicated to the Grey Knights, as he mentioned here with the piercing eyes, he actually called the first one, or the second story about Lazarus, then the confirmation that he's been talking about in all the text that he's been sending me is it's on and it's rock and rolling. And if that is the case and it does happen tomorrow, then I'm going to change my viewpoint of Azrael being the model being revealed to Captain Lazarus of the Fifth Company being the new Dark Angel model that will be featured in the Ritual of the Damned. Maybe I'm wrong still. Maybe it might be a Grey Knight. Maybe it actually may be a brand new Thousand Sun Sorcerer or a new Thousand Sun model or something like that. But the information I'm getting off this chap and the way it connects to the already established lore, I just can't see any other choice or any other way that GW will go about it, to be completely fair. Alright, Chaperonios, that is me done for another video. Thank you for coming, thank you for watching, as always. If you want, leave your thoughts, feedback, your comments down below. How would you like it if it was Captain Lazarus instead of Azrael being revealed as the new model for the Dark Angels? Do you like the idea of a new character trumping over the Chapter Master model, which, does need an update? Maybe they're saving it for something else if it is Captain Lazarus that comes. I do think it's a really, really good thing that they introduced new Primaris characters into the story in model format, may I add. I know we have a lot of characters that have yet to receive the Primaris treatment and be upgraded, but it's also good, I personally think, seeing new people, new characters being introduced into the story, because it can get kind of repetitive if you keep using the same old characters over and over again, doing the same old thing. So it's nice to see new boys popping up and purging away in the Emperor's glorious name, as always. Okay, again, that's me done. Nothing off rambling. And thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, and bye bye.